Hello, grade 12 students. Today, you're receiving the presentation for applying to college and everything you need to know to apply to college. Before you get started, we will remind you, as we did back in September, that you should be checking out college websites, publications, and their virtual tours. Make sure you're researching the program admission requirements, and make sure you take a close look at ontariocolleges.ca under programs. Some important dates coming up will be February 1st. This is called the Equal Consideration Date. All applications received at OCAS by this date will be considered equally by the colleges. OCAS is the Ontario College Application System, and it is the website that you will be applying through. February 1st is important because you want to be treated equally to all other applicants. It is possible to apply after February 1st, but what you need to know is you will not be treated equally in that your name will be at the bottom of the pile until they have gone through all the applicants who have applied by February 1st. In early February, you may start to receive offers. That's because they will have some of your final marks. May 1st is the date by which you must confirm your acceptance of an offer. However, the earliest date that a college can require payment of tuition fees is mid-June, and usually it is a small deposit. Now, did you know that the application fee is $95 and it is non-refundable? Therefore, we want to make sure when you apply that you are absolutely certain you're happy with your application. You can apply for up to 5 program choices, and you can even have 3 at one college. So I give the example of someone who's in their head, they're absolutely certain they want to apply and, let's say, go to Sheridan College because it's local and it's what's going to work for you. You can apply for up to 3 different programs at that one college. And then you can make your other 2 applications elsewhere. However, some students know exactly the program they want, and that's the most important thing. So for example, a student who might be looking at applying to paramedics, you may choose to apply to 5 different colleges, all for paramedics. So just to cover who does what. OCAS, the Ontario College Application System, they process your application. It's where you apply. And they also house your confirmation, and acceptances. And they forward all your information onto the colleges. We, as your high school, provide ontariocolleges.ca with your personal and academic information. Very important to remind you, you do not need to submit a transcript. We submit your marks on your behalf. You are responsible for applying to the college, paying the application fee, confirming your acceptance, and then, of course, going to college. Some other important stuff. If you are taking night school, and if it is not in Peel, ensure that your guidance counselor is aware. I recommend an email to your counselor. Yes, we may have signed the document for you to get in there, but we don't necessarily remember, and sometimes it needs to be added to your application. Once you are registered in the night school course, then it can be added to your application. If you're thinking of taking summer school, then you will be responsible for arranging to get the grades to your college. So, you're going to create an account. In order to do that, you have to go to ontariocolleges.ca. You have to click on Apply. And you need to choose Canadian Applicant. Once you start the application, you're going to be required under the New Applicant here to fill out this information. Notice it says legal first and given name or legal last family name. Ensure it is your legal name, please, because that is how your information is matched up. You also need to provide your date of birth. Once you have started your application, then they're going to ask you to complete your profile. Your profile will include your personal information, where will you need to add your personal address and an email account. It is very important to make sure it's a functional, working email account that you can pass on to every college, something that you'd be proud of. Make sure your email address is something that you would not be embarrassed by the colleges receiving. Next, you'll be prompted to complete your education information. Now, what that means is you're going to click off that you are currently, yes, in a high school course, and a high school student, and then from there, it's going to ask you some additional information. So for example, province, name of the school, you're going to put in Central Peel Secondary School. That will go into here. Are you currently attending this institution? Yes, you are. And from what date? So for most of you, if you're currently in grade 12 and you started in grade 9 at Central Peel, your start date will be September 2017. Your 9-digit OEN is important. This is also another way that your academic information is matched to your application. Therefore, that is going to go in here, and you can find your OEN number on your report cards. If you're desperate to find it, you've checked everywhere, you can't find a single report card, and you can't find your OEN, then you may contact Ms. McGee in the guidance office. After you have created or completed your personal information, completed the education, then your profile is complete. And now you're ready to apply to college. You can use this button here. You can also use this button over here. This is very important. I had to go in and change the dates on the page that they sent us just because it hadn't been updated. So I apologize if it looks a little messy, but I think it's so important that I wanted to make sure the dates were correct in here. So when would you like to go to college? You should be selecting after July 31st, 2021. Basically, the earliest that our grade 12 students can apply or start college is September 2021. Some of you might like to think I can start in January, but that's not going to be the case if you are still in school till the end of semester 1. If you are graduating by the end of semester 1, then maybe May is an option for you. But really, the majority of you will be looking to start going to college after July 31st, 2021, which means September 2021. Once you're in your program, this banner at the top will remain consistent. And the first one you're going to complete is choose programs. This example, someone started to type in pharm for pharmacy. And once they complete typing it in, all the different pharmacy programs will show up. And it's very easy to click in the program of your choice, always checking the start date, make sure it's September 2021. Keep in mind, if you are interested in delaying your start until the beginning of January 2022, that is an option. So you're going to have to look for that date as a start date. So click in the program of your choice. Yes, the college is going to come up, and always check the start date. You can order your choices 1 through 5. And that's really for your benefit. It is about you being able to keep on top of what is your first choice, your second choice, and on down through to your 5th choice. Review. The next circle here is for reviewing your application. So once you have completed putting in the programs, you'll notice that I skipped over the part that says order transcripts. The reality is, a high school student, you do not require to order transcripts as we send your marks for you. And you will actually be able to see your past grade 11 marks in your application already. After you've reviewed your application and you're satisfied with it, you can make your payment. The payment is $95. In order to pay, you have options: credit card or Interact banking online. Once you've submitted your application and paid for it, you'll start getting communication back to your email. Again, make sure you check your email to make sure it's not going into your junk file. You just want to make sure that you're receiving your communications properly. However, you can always come back to this page, ontariocolleges.ca, and you can log into your application. And from there, when you click on Home, you can see various different things. For example, this student can see they have 3 offers. So you can check out your offers. Additionally, there will be messages in case there's something you need to do or something you need to read about. And you'll also see your marks being updated regularly on this page. Some of the programs that students will apply to have additional requirements. For example, if it's a performance-based program, you may require an audition. If it's an art-based program or a design-based program, you may require a portfolio. Sometimes a test is involved or an interview. These two I talked about in my last presentation at Centennial College for automotive. There is often a test or interview they're going to ask you to complete. And finally, you need to be thinking about English proficiency. If you came to Canada, within the last 3 years for most colleges. You may check the required number of years to be in an Ontario high school on each college's website. But generally, it's fair to say it's going to be about 3 years for English proficiency. If you've been in Ontario less than 2 years, then you're going to have to establish your English proficiency. And I will talk about that in a minute. So schools will see all your grades from grade 11 on. When you get into your application and you've logged out and then you log back in and your information has all been connected with your application, then you'll actually be able to see your marks in the education portion. The transmission dates for us are mid-February. You will have your marks updated based on January. So in other words, at the end of January, they will be receiving all your semester 1 marks, which include your Q1 finals, Quad 1, and your Quad 2 finals. Late April to early May, you're going to see your Q3 midterms, your Quad 3 midterms, or your semester 2 Quad 1 midterms. I call them Quad 3. I don't know if everyone else is, but the marks that you will have achieved between February and the middle of April. And lastly, marks will be submitted again in July, and that will be based on your final report card. Notice that this is important. This will be an important transmission because they're going to be looking to make sure you were successful in achieving your diploma. Included in that is, did you complete your 40 hours? I'm calling it 40/20 hours because, as you should have received from us previously, the Ministry of Education has changed it for grade 12s this year. If you have not yet completed your 40 hours, you are welcome to submit 20 hours, and those 20 hours will count as your 40 hours. And the last thing is your Ontario Secondary School Literacy Test. And if you have not yet achieved your literacy test, we recommend the OLC 400 course, or the Ministry of Education at this point in time is saying there will be an opportunity to write in the spring. If there's an error at any point in time with your marks, we welcome you to email your counselor. Just wanted to mention about scholarship information. We know that most scholarships are based on leadership, opportunities, volunteer experiences, and excellent grades. Once you have that, you're going to want to start looking at your opportunities for scholarship. So I've talked before about econic.com. We will have a OSAP presentation about how to fund your post-secondary. That will come in February. We recommend you check out Ontario College websites, see if there's any scholarships or bursaries available. Just explanation, scholarships are based on merit bursaries are based on financial need. So you may qualify for one or both. Check with your parents for workplace scholarships. And this is fairly new, but it was opened up that students could start applying for OSAP much earlier than in the past. Generally, you cannot finalize an OSAP application until you've actually accepted the institution, so you know exactly where you're going and what the program is. But nowadays, you can actually go in, start filling out the application, and get a really good idea of if you're going to be eligible for OSAP money. Just going to remind you that in the email that I sent, you will find a step-by-step info sheet uh, just to help you check off as you go through your application. Additionally, Ontario Colleges does have a video guide. It's very short and sweet, and you can watch that as well. If you have an IEP and students who say, I don't know, then you don't have an IEP. An IEP is an individual education plan, you would know. And if you do have an IEP, it's your responsibility to contact the college, sorry, it should say college/university here, to learn about their services. So in other words, all colleges must provide the same type of supports students on an IEP in high school, but at the college level. If you have questions, please write them down and mark the following date and time in your calendar. I'm going to be running a Q&A, question and answers, for how to apply to college on Wednesday, November 4th. And it's not going to be long because generally the questions are very short. So I'm bookmarking 12:15 to 12:30 for the how to apply Q&A for college. And an invite will be sent to your mailbox by Tuesday, November 3rd. Thank you for listening.